Alright, hello everyone. We got only a few viewers in here at the moment, which is expected. It's Monday. People are doing their Zoom call school meetings and like actually being at work and whatnot. But for those of you who are able to join in for today, uh, I'm gonna be coloring a page of Spider-Man 94 issue 2. I'm hoping to get this issue out by December 1st. But today we have a pretty exciting page. One panel I've already posted because I've finished it. But we got the whole rest of the page to go. So you guys can kind of see my little process of how I do things. I will allow you to see the capture. So here we go. I work in Procreate. I don't know. Like this is what I don't know. This is what I work on. It's easier for me because I've got the Apple Pencil, and I like drawing directly onto the screen, and I've always just kind of had an iPad, and so this is just the way I do it. I know a lot of people have like the Wacom plug-in tablets that don't have a screen on them, and like I'm sure that given time I could get used to using one of those and use a program on the computer, but I just prefer seeing where I'm drawing because that's how I've done it for 18 years. So yeah, we got 6 viewers. Here, I'll try to keep the chat tabbed so that I can see it. Alright. Yeah, that's probably good. Right there. Alright. Yeah. Okay. So, hello to my small little viewer count. I guess I'll walk you through how I do one of these. So I've already started up here on panel 1. When doing Venom, and by the way, if anyone doesn't know, this comic is drawn by the wonderful Dane Amiot. Dane is a legend. He is so good. There's a podcast on Xavier's channel. This comic is written by Xavier Godzilla Mendoza. There's a podcast from when the first issue came out of the three of us just talking about our process and, you know, behind the scenes stuff for that first issue. And see, I'd recommend go watching that if you don't know who any of us are, or if you want to learn more about the comic and our process on making the first issue. So it was a good time. But anyway, the process for doing Venom is you basically have to ink him, which is a cool thing about this book that saves us a lot of time, despite every issue still having about a year in between each other so far, is that we don't ink it. And it's because the like some lines I'll clean up, like here I have inked a little bit. It's a bad example, this page, but let me see, I've got other pages in here, so I can turn off layers and shit. But yeah, this page, there's not a whole lot of inking on. Like you can see Spider-Man's webs. They're not exactly super thick or clean. They're, you know, they're a little bit fuzzy, and that actually helps add to the look that we're trying to achieve, which is like almost 1-to-1 what the cartoon looked like, because it's like forever just frozen in 480p. You know, just they decided not to make the show in HD, so we'll never get a clean release like that. We all thought that the show was going to be remastered, because there was a rumor back when it, you know, we thought it was, we just thought it was going to be an HD remaster on Disney Plus, but it's just the old DVD rips and whatnot. You know, it's what they had on Hulu like 5 years before. But yeah, something that I came up with for what this, because like a lot of the stuff that's here, like a lot of people would think that, and not to downplay his contribution, but a lot of people would think that, you know, the art kind of just looks like you can kind of just see all this already in the pencils, but it's not the case. I actually have to do a lot of my own creative thinking on what these areas are going to look like and whatnot, especially for this issue, because it's we're in a new dimension, different location, so it doesn't have to look exactly like the show, which is what the first issue looked like. Like, we tried to get it as close to the show as we could for like really big shots, anything where it was just like a character, you know, just, I need to get on a layer where I can draw. Anything where it was just like a, you know, it was just one panel, and then like Spider-Man's right here, and he's like, you know, just talking or whatever as he does, and it's just kind of a close-up. We would usually just fill in a solid color behind him. I don't know who we is. I would do that. But Dane would just draw it so that, you know, there's no background, and I can kind of do whatever I want back there. And a lot of the time, whenever there was a shot of Spider-Man like that that's up close, in the finished art, there's usually a lot more going on behind him than there is in the pencils, because while like sometimes it'll be left open, sometimes I'll put like a gross dirty wall behind him, or one of my paintings of the sky that looks like the show. And sometimes like for issue 2, there's a page where it's a up close shot of him swinging, and I put like the sun setting behind him, and none of that is in the pencil, so I do a fair bit of contribution to what the overall image is going to look like, besides just coloring in the characters and backgrounds. I do add quite a bit. But yeah, so for this area, I was, like, this location in London, I was adding a lot of screen tones to give it a comic book feeling, and to just, you know, make it feel different than the show. The show didn't really have any, you know, screen tones or anything, because that would be a fucking nightmare to animate. So just mostly paintings that they could reuse for each frame, you know, just set the cells on top of it. But this is Procreate, by the way, for people joining. But anyway, let's get back to work. So let me turn my layers on. Alright. Actually, I can show you what this page looked like before I went into color. And, like, Venom didn't look like this because he's all inked up. He's all filled in black. Before that, he looked like this. He was just white, and he has X's to signify where to fill in black. Carnage is just scribbled in like that for his black areas. But yeah, that's basically what a page looks like, and it, down here is very cleaned up. A lot of this is really cleaned up. A raw page. I was gonna zoom out and show you what a raw page looked like, but you might see some spoilers, so I'll just stay on here for the moment. Let me take a look at chat really quick. Yeah, okay, nothing new. Oh, favorite story arc from '94. I really like all of the. I just got a messenger notification. Let me check that out really quick. Oh, I'm getting messages. What the fuck's going on? I'm answering a message from Dane right now. He wanted to watch, but he's at work. That's what happened. Anyway, um, so yeah, favorite story arc from Spider-Man '94. Probably. I mean, the episodes I watch the most frequently are the ones where Peter and Mary Jane are like married or get together. And it's the clone MJ. Unfortunately, but I watch those ones the most just because I love Peter and MJ together, and um, the way that they work together as a team once she knows his identity. And I wish that I could see more of that in other franchises and whatnot. You know, in other universes, because I really like when she helps out, because she's not just a damsel; she does quite a bit of helping out, and maybe not scientifically, but in almost every other way, she is a lot smarter than Peter is. um, so anyway, let's get to inking up Venom. So I ink right on top of the pencils, just to save time, because this program, well, Procreate is very good and can be used professionally. It does have limitations. I can only do 22 layers. I can only open 22 layers uh, on this canvas, just because of how the scaling is and what resolution this file is at. It can only contain so much. So I usually only end up using about 20, like maybe not in total, but by the time the whole thing is done, like I can definitely easily fit it all down into like 20 or 21 layers. Ooh. Yeah, I like the Green Goblin stuff from the show too. My favorite episodes, I think all of our favorite episodes really from like the team is the like the Venom stuff and the Green Goblin like arc, specifically Turning Point. That episode is fantastic. That episode has like the best animation in the entire series. Turning Point is a great episode. And it's kind of what the whole plot of our book hinges on. Is that episode. Basically what I do, cuz I could, and I do sometimes, like use the select tool, but usually what I'll do first is I do a thick border around the areas that are going to be highlighted, so that when I go to fill it in, I don't have to zoom in and get super close to the lines. I can just like, here, I'll give you an example. Let me put these borders on. And then, yeah, all of that is going to be like that, so. So I can just fill that in really quick, drop the color in, and it's done. So, that's my process for doing Venom's highlights and black inking and everything, because this art style doesn't really have a lot of cross-hatching, and it would look off if I made it look like a traditional comic. And don't get me wrong, I fucking love cross-hatching. I grew up on Todd McFarlane stuff and John Romita Jr., so I oughta. Yeah, I really like drawing or coloring Venom for this issue. He's a very fun character to work with, and it may be down to the fact that he doesn't have any shadows, so there's not a whole lot of guesswork for that side of things. Uh, let's see. Yeah, she was in one episode. I don't know. I think it's just because like she wasn't current in the comics, and they kind of started out with Mary Jane and Felicia, who were current in the comics. So I don't know. I know that the series from the very start, like when it was being conceptualized, they wanted to just do like a straight up like Lee and Romita era adaptation, and Peter was gonna look exactly like John Romita Senior Peter. Um, it just would have taken place in the current day, but you know it evolved into what it is. And right before they like got into the animation part of the show, where they would send it over to Korea and have it be done over there, um, they they redesigned Peter last minute because Stan Lee thought he didn't look modern enough. He thought he looked frozen in the 60s because he was based on the art from that era, and it evolved from like the John Romita Sr. Peter into what we got in the show. You know, this guy with the Lego brick hair. He's got one hanging down. And yeah, some of that. He's got the nose, and there we go. There's Spider-Man. But yeah, I love Romita Jr.'s art as well. I love it a lot. I draw the Spider-Man eyes the way he does most of the time, just almost subconsciously now. So I'm noticing here, Venom's chin, once this is all inked, it's going to blend into the rest of him. So that's where I have to start coming in with my own highlights. I have to know where I'm going to put them. Oops. So I'm going to outline right here. And then up there. So now that that area is highlighted, I will invert it. So now I'm not able to color on the section that I outlined. So I can just fill in what I know needs to be black and give that thin border on Venom's jaw and chin so that it doesn't blend in with the rest of him. Like that. How long does it take me on average to finish a page? In the crunch of when the first issue came out, because we wanted to get it out on the anniversary of the show, during that crunch, I was finishing pages like left and right. I think on the last day before it had to go out, I think I finished like 3 pages. And that required me to go to school, bring my iPad and Apple Pencil with me, and then just absolutely disregard everything that's happening around me and only color. And then when I get home, continue to color until it was like 2 or 3 a.m. And, oh, oops. I thought that area was still highlighted. Anyway, but yeah, just absolutely nonstop color. In a more relaxed phase, when I start a page and if I work on it consistently, without taking breaks that are days apart, I could probably do a whole page. I could probably do a whole page in a day if I sat down and that was the only thing I did. Um, yeah, especially if it's like a location that has already been started, because that's something that ends up taking, it kind of slows down production a little bit. Is when, like, let's say this page right here, we have, this right here, this is going to be the alleyway. God, that is horrible. It's the alleyway. And then, like, a few pages later, we'll move to a new location. So, let's say it's like I don't know, like an office or something. Uh, Once I've done the colors for this area, then basically what I can do, right, to keep the area looking consistent, I can just grab that same color, and I'm able to do the next 4 or 5 pages that takes place in. But when I get here, I have to figure out all new colors. So by the time I've figured out, the new color, like, that first page will take a little bit, but by the time I've gotten the rest of them, I can keep going, and you get back into a groove. So that's how I would explain that, I guess. So if I have the colors pre-existing from something, I could easily do a page in a day. If not, and I got to start figuring things out for how is this going to look in this type of lighting, I got to go find references from the show to get the colors used in the show, so everything's super accurate. It like, a lot of time is spent just like sourcing and then putting in the images, figuring out which characters have which colors and where their shadows need to go. And once you've done it like the first time, you can pretty much just move right into it the second time, and it goes a lot faster. So it looks like Venom has a highlight. I don't know what is happening. What is going on? Things are highlighted. Okay, that's what it was. So anyway, Venom has a highlight right here. Just checking chat. That was all. Okay. But yeah, Venom's look in this show is very unique, and I used to not like it, but now that I've become so attached to this version of Spider-Man, I've ended up actually really coming to like most of these characters' designs. I'm kind of nostalgic for it now, and after working on a series like this, I'm definitely like these looks for the characters will always have a special place in my heart, and especially growing up with them, they already did, but now that, like, I'm kind of a part of them, I've been able to carry their legacy on. It's very fun. And you almost start to feel like these are your versions of the character, because I've been working on this comic since April of last year. So we got that first issue out in like 7 months. This one's taken longer. It's taken about a year for the next one to come out. But yeah, it's been a ride, and I'm very happy working on this book, and I can't wait for all of it to be out. Just because I want to show you guys what we have planned, because we have some big plans for issues 3, 4, and 5, and I think you'll start to see what we're on to by the end of issue 2. I'm very excited for you guys to see the end of this issue. Definitely gonna... I think a lot of people are gonna be talking about it when it happens, because this comic got quite a bit of attention on the first issue, but I think once we see this, once you guys see what's in store for issue 3, I think everyone will be very excited. I don't think Becky edited that. I think she found that somewhere. But yeah, um, Venom's little like pupil things that aren't even really pupils. It's just how his eyes look. I don't know. It does look wrong without them, but doesn't look too bad. It doesn't look great. But that, I don't know. It still looks a little bit off. I think maybe if I just... Yeah, that looks alright. I think I can even do that. Venom's also got this weird snout thing in in this show that I'm not a super big fan of. That is part of his design that I'm not super into. He's got this long protruding dinosaur snout. It's a little bit weird, but yeah, it does make him look a little bit like Lizard, especially without color. So I'll probably do one of these a little bit later as well. Um, just because I know that Dane wanted to watch, and who am I to say no to the guy that drew the thing I'm coloring? Um, but yeah, this will be archived as well, so you'll be able to go back and watch this whenever. Trying my best not to say spoilers, but also trying to get you guys excited for what's in store. So hopefully I don't mess up and then it's saved just here forever. Um, but yeah. So down here you can see I already got some colors going on, and especially like down here, you know, this panel is done. And like I was saying earlier, when I need to go back to color in Spider-Man and Venom for panel 2, I'll just grab their colors from here. I can just do it. I'll even do Spider-Man right now because that's just a quick fill-in. Spider-Man's going to need a little bit of cleanup around the edges and in his eyes, but other than that, kind of leave him the way he is. The pencils being fuzzy helps with the look that we're trying to achieve, so definitely saves us time. Saves us a lot of time, actually, because it's only, you know, the only people you got to rely on for the art to get done is me and Dane. You don't have to have a middleman for inking. Which, you know, Xavier's had some trouble finding consistent teams to do his ideas for books. You know, one issue of something can take a long time to come out. So far, Contest of Slashers issue 1 and this book have been the only ones to come out. And those are like a year apart, I think. And Contest had been in the works even before that. Like, it took probably a year for Contest to come out, and it went through several different artists. But landed on Dane, and I'm glad it did. The book came out, and it looks great. For pencils. Dane was on pencils. And he can do amazing work very consistently, much more consistently than anyone else Xavier has had on the team. Because issue 3 of this book is already almost done. So I need to play catch up now. Because for a while during issue 1, I was working so fast because school was so fucking bullshit and was not giving me anything that was actually challenging. Which I wish I would go back to that, because now when I log on, maybe it's just doing it at home just instantly makes me not want to do it more, which I that is part of it. Um, but when I open up, when I open it up and I'm reading it, it's just not clicking with me anymore. Probably just because I don't care enough to actually try to understand what I'm reading. So yeah, here's me cleaning up Spider-Man's eyes just a little bit. I think he's supposed to look a little more worried, so I'll deepen that a little bit. Very fine line for Spider-Man's facial expressions. There's definitely an art to it. So, yeah, there's Spider-Man. I'll probably fill in this shadow black, because they would do the deep black shadow underneath his chin. But that was about it. They wouldn't really put it anywhere else. Why is Venom black? That's his color. That's what he is. The symbiote it's called the black suit. I think the more appropriate question is, why is red and blue light reflecting off of him at all times? I don't understand what any of that means. I don't know why they didn't just go with all blue. Or, like, I don't know. I don't even understand the pink side. Like, I don't why did they not just go with all blue? They did that for Spider-Man's black suit. I don't understand it. I would like to know the reason why. If it was just the case of, like, an artist saying, I don't know, I think this looks cool, then yeah. If it literally means nothing and it's just to look cool, then I guess they succeeded, because this shit is, like, pretty neat. It's a very unique look for Venom. I'm noticing a spot isn't colored on him. Here we go. So yeah, once we get done inking Venom and actually moving into colors, I'm sure this will get a lot more exciting. But maybe watching it, because I do like watching artists ink. I just like watching other artists do their work. It's very, for an artist, it's very fun to look at. Just, you pick up techniques from watching, and it's just a good time to, kind of trade secrets almost. Xavier will add that sound effect in later in lettering. Is this his spider on his back appearing right there? I think it is. I might change that a little bit. I think it looks a little strange. I'll use the original pencils, but I think it's bending a little strangely. So what I'll do here, and I've done this a few times to mess around with Dane's pencils when he's asked. Sometimes when he doesn't. But it's usually such a minor change that, you know, he might not even notice it. Um, but just distorting around the look of something just to see if it would make it look better. I feel like even that looks a little strange. I think this positioning is just a little strange. I think maybe something a little more like that, and then I'll... Like, I get what he was trying to go for. But it's always nice to have a second opinion, and yeah, I think that looks all right. Erase this section now, and bring that down, and then bam. I should have like one of those. Yeah, that looks like Venom. I might actually redo this leg, have it go like there. Yeah. I think that forms around his body a little bit better. I never want to change the pencils too much. Am I the colorist or the editor? Honestly, we all kind of edit things because, like, Dane helps write the stories, and I'll occasionally, uh, request a certain line of dialogue or some sort of joke for Spider-Man to say. I mean, we all kind of have our hands in it. You know, we all contribute. Um, we definitely have our specific jobs, but it's such a passion project for all of us that we all kind of get a say in what's going to happen. And I wouldn't have it any different. Oops. I very much like the very, open way of doing this project. We all could communicate quite a bit. Yeah, my little brother's next door. I might go close this door just so it doesn't come through the hallway as much. So give me a moment. If I was using my old microphone, definitely wouldn't have been able to hear that, but this new mic's a lot better, so stuff like that gets picked up. Thomas, like Brandon, like Unstoppable Spider-Man. Unstoppable Spider-Man's great. Let me untangle my headphones really quick. All right. That's probably good for Venom's mouth. Do a little bit on his tongue. I've been cleaning these pages up a lot more than other pages, and I think part of that is that these pages were a little rough around the edges when Dane did them. You know, they got a little messy, and they scanned pretty good. They scanned really good actually, but Uh, these pages just aren't as clean as some of the other pages Dane has done, which is like these would be fine as just like if we had an inker, these would be perfect. These are fine, but the way that we do it, Dane is forced to pencil all of his stuff so tightly and so cleanly to basically already look like it's inked in the final product. Just like without having as dark or as clean of a line as what I'm doing right now. Just not having an inker, the pencils have to be almost ink level of clean. And it just takes a lot of work off of me not having to clean them up a whole lot. Yeah, Unstoppable hasn't been getting as much publicity as late, and that might just be because issues are taking a little bit longer to come out, but new one just came out. Unstoppable is definitely one of the, best Spider-Man fan comics to look up to, because it's, to my knowledge, one of the only ones that got past a first issue or even completed a first issue and then kept going. I mean, what, he's on issue 10 now? Like, man, that's crazy. Like, doing 10 issues of a comic all by yourself, no help, that is very impressive. I mean, it's taken us 3 people in the span of like a year to do like 1 1/4. I don't know how many pages have come out of, let's see, there's 8 pages out, I think, of 94 currently, so there's, yeah, that's about a third of the book. There's a lot more to go. I think this first issue is only like 22, or not first issue, but this second issue. I think this issue I'm working on right now is like 20, 21 pages, I think. 22, maybe. Maybe 22 with the, previously on Spider-Man page. Yeah, I might start doing these color sessions a little bit more often. It might end up only being for this issue, but who knows. Just because I want to avoid spoilers, but whenever... This page is like pretty safe from spoilers because we already know that Venom and Carnage are in this issue. And nothing too crazy happens here except for maybe what's going on right here, because you'd expect Venom and Spider-Man to show up and maybe fight, but they are working together here. And the last time they met each other, they worked together, so it's not that big of a stretch. think it's actually kind of cool that both of these guys, issue 1 foreshadows them. There's a panel where Spider-Man Peter, he's sitting on his bed and thinking about all the people that have been lost to the portals over the last year or two, and he thinks about Venom and Carnage and Green Goblin, and then, wouldn't you know it, within the same day, he's face to face with both of them once more. But I think that also raises the question, who else is he going to find out here? Did they all end up in the same location? He's got to look around for them, or is he going to have to jump around to a few different locations to try and find all the people that have been missing? He's got to find MJ. He's got to find, he's got to find Venom and Carnage. I think the Spot disappeared into a big, gigantic portal over the whole city. And I think his girlfriend went with him too, so there's been a few people displaced by portals. Also, I feel like a lot of people don't remember that Mysterio just died in this show. He's the only character to just actually full on just fucking game end. Because every other character, when they wanted to do a character death, they just threw their fucking ass into a portal. But Mysterio just full on fucking died. Could have been an illusion, but I don't think it was. He was being very real, very legitimate. Mr. White, what's up with the hair loss? I think after a little bit of this page, because I'm trying to think at what page is next that wouldn't be too spoilery that I could do. Because I do want to save some for Dane, for him to watch. So I might just end up doing only this panel and the background, and maybe the background for this Carnage panel that's already, the flats are already done on. I don't know what is going on over here. Is that from this layer? No? Is that pencils? It is pencils, okay. I'll get rid of that. Big stray line. So yeah, I think I'll end up just doing this, just this Venom. And I really hate how long character flats take. You'd think that they wouldn't take as long as they do. And it surprises everyone, because Dane did some of the character flats, not the shadows, but just their base colors. Did some of those for issue 1 to help me get the book out on time. And I was telling him, these take a lot longer than you think. And after he did them, he was like, yeah. Yeah, it's fine. Most looking forward to in Miles, definitely just revisiting that world again. I hope that the swinging feels a little bit different. I hope they added something, so it doesn't feel like just a reskin of the old game. Just bring a little something new to the table. Maybe they add an extra move or something. But just coming back to the Spider-Man PS4 universe is what I'm most excited about. I like that continuity a lot. I liked collecting all the backpacks to find out more about this Peter's world and how his life has been. Um, I'm looking forward to the winter NYC as well. That's going to be fun to look at. Lots of cool photo mode pictures for sure. Yeah, Mysterio died. He was in love with this actress whose face got like mutilated in the explosion that he set off in his origin story that was like too much and it got him fired. He was in love with that actress and he found her body and like kept her alive, but she was like horribly scarred and she wanted her looks back. And she was gonna swap like minds with Mary Jane, so she would have Mary Jane's like beautiful looks and essentially reclaim, you know, what she once looked like, because she looked very similar to Mary Jane. And it was all just a fucking ruse. Mysterio's like, that machine doesn't do anything. I'm sorry. I just wanted to. You wanted to die, like knowing that you would never look like yourself again. But I really wanted you to stay alive because I love you. And then the fucking whole shit around them starts like collapsing and exploding and whatnot. And Spider-Man is like, Mysterio, come on, we gotta go. You're gonna die if you stay in here. And he's like, nah, I'm all right. I'll stay here with. I'll die here with my lady that I like a lot. And then they fucking die. And Spider-Man and MJ leave, and then Spider-Man proposes to MJ. But water clone MJ. That's the thing, though, is that I want a more complex webbing system, web swinging system, because it's fun. I don't like that it forces you to jump at the apex of your swing every time, and holding the right trigger and just having the game do everything for me. You know, running on walls, whatnot. You just any surface that you're on, just holding the right trigger and pressing forward, and Spider-Man just does it for you. It's not fun. It definitely is serviceable, and it can be fun when you know you start adding your own thing into it. But there's not a whole lot of incentive to actually do that because there's no fall damage, so you can do whatever, hit the ground, fucking live. So there's no incentive to actually getting good at web swinging and doing these death-defying fucking leaps across buildings. Or these big jumps that if you hit the ground don't shoot a web out in time, you know. I'd at least want them to give, if they're not going to add the fall damage, which I hope they do, because, you know, their reasoning for why Peter doesn't have fall damage because he's so experienced. Miles isn't experienced, so if he hits the ground, he should take some fall damage because he doesn't know how to land the same as Peter yet, I guess. The Venom Blast combat looks really cool, but I'm not super fond of the Venom Blast being a visual thing now. He just looks like Electro now when he fights. But the combat does look very fun with that mechanic. Yeah, I agree, William. The Venom Blast stuff is very similar to the like left bumper and then a face button mechanic super move stuff from Web of Shadows. Yeah, it does look a little bit like Infamous as well, actually. Venom has these weird things on his forearms in this show. These like little wrappings around his, like they're like veins that wrap around his forearm and they're only there. And that's what this is over here. I don't know what the purpose of these are. She doesn't have those at any other time. Yeah, I don't like how yeah, the only thing they'd really need to do for that is just to stop automating the web swinging system as much and have it so that like if you're close to the ground, you do that shit from Spider-Man 2 where you run along the ground while holding the web a little bit. If they were going to add fall damage, definitely just make it so that he doesn't snap up to 10 feet in the air automatically no matter what height you're at. It disconnects the real world with the web swinging world a little bit. I think after this page I'll get back to commissions and I'll do a little bit of schoolwork as well, but then later tonight when Dane is off work I will come back to this page to finish it up. But so far this is a pretty fun stream. That would be cool, having the running along the ground be a mobility upgrade. Yeah, that'd be probably the ideal way to do that. Y'all excited for that Halloween merch coming out soon? I don't know when those designs are going to go live, but hopefully soon. Halloween is almost here. So if you'd want that shit in time, you'd probably have to order like now. Alright. That seems good for Venom's inks, I think. I think it is time to move on to his colors. So I think I'll clean up this web just a tad. Alright. That seems good. Alright. Time to start grabbing some colors. So let's grab his white for his symbol. I'll actually put this on the same layer as the Venom from down there. Some kind of suit creator. It seems like they might allow you to mix and match clothing on top of the suits. I think that might be allowed. So that might be kind of what you're looking for. Not necessarily a suit customization, but you can definitely personalize what Spider-Man will look like, I think. Is that all his white sections? I got back here too. Okay. I don't think his hand is... Yeah, the little white thing isn't visible. So yeah, I think that's it for that. I can grab his teeth color. Oh my god. Shit. That fucking happens to me all the time. I hate it. Just trying to zoom in. Alright. Grab his mouth color. Now his mouth is all done, so I can flatten that. And up here, I will start doing his highlights. Alright, so let's see. I kind of do this from any direction I want, so I guess I will have the blue face this direction. That's usually where I start Venom's highlights from, because you have to segment it down his lips. So I usually start by drawing a line there, and then I go from there. And I've noticed that it's not actually a perfect split down the middle. Some lines, depending on where they are, like this one down here, that is going to be his pink reflection. Just because, like, it's weird. It's like it's split down the middle, but also up and down. So on an object like his arm, this top section and like the bicep is going to be blue, but down here to finish off his arm is usually like a dark, the other reflection color. It's very interesting. I don't understand why, but it's cool looking. And I can always go back and change these things later as well. Nothing's final. When you're doing digital, that is. So I think I can get away with making this section blue, but if not, then I will end up changing it. And split down that, make it that color. Okay. And there we go, there's Venom. I'm actually noticing these missing spots. So I'll put that in there. And yeah, I think that's alright. Is this correct? Is this leg good? Let me zoom out and I will check. I think I might end up doing that line blue. This leg looks okay, I think. Right? Yeah. Yeah, I think that looks alright. If I turn this blue. Yeah, I think that actually looks a little bit better. Alright, so that's probably good. Okay. So there's Venom. Oh, there's Xavier. Hello. Here's the whole page so far, by the way, boss. So, I'll probably end up finishing this page later tonight when Dane is off of work. That is the plan for the moment. Something dumb, by the way, is Carnage's eyes are colored in here. I don't know why his white color at night is, like, literally just actually, like, the absolute value white, but Venom's is not. Whoever animated Carnage is kind of fucking stupid. Let me grab the web color. Finish off this panel. Let me flat my layers down too. Bam. So Venom just fucking rotated his wrist and snapped this shit because he's fucking awesome. Oh yeah, that is definitely the biggest. Like if Venom, I don't know actually, because Venom, I would still have to color everyone like a full solid color, but Venom requires like Venom and Carnage require like actual inking for their symbiote parts, and then if I don't do their lines next to those dark blacks, they look wrong, so I have to just actually ink pretty much everything on them, so these pages have ended up taking a little bit longer. And then and by proxy, Spider-Man next to them, then his lines don't look as, they don't fit when they're next to these like solid like inked characters, so I have to clean up Spider-Man's webs a lot, especially on like his chest and face specifically, because that's the part that your eyes are drawn to for the most part. So that's where I do the most work on him, like because his hands and stuff, they're still like normal. His feet are still pretty messy, but you're drawn to his eyes and chest the most, so that's where I do the most inking. Don't spoil them. But yeah, it will. It might be faster because, like, Spider-Man himself can kind of look normal next to them, you know, because he's different than those other guys. But anyway, I'm going to stop talking before something horrible comes out. Not having spoilers permanently archived on my channel. And issue 3's pages are very clean, not nearly as rough as like the later half of issue 2, so it won't require as much cleanup. Those pages scanned really well, and Dane drew them fucking crazy clean. They look super good. I don't have the web shadow color. I might have to go grab that. Or is it here, actually? I think I might have it. Let me turn Venom off. Did I add it? I did. Okay, cool. Okay. Perhaps. Is there a specific brush I'm using for half toning? Um, I mean, really, the only brush I use is this custom one I made, which is just kind of a, it's a modified dry ink brush from where is it at? This one. It's a modified version of this. Oh, hold on, I need a layer I can draw on. Yeah, modified version of this. Um, and that brush is pretty cool to look at, but I'm not the biggest fan of how it feels. So I made my own. So I have the dry ink brush. And I also made another brush recently, which is the crazy chunky brush, which I like a lot, but isn't the best for filling in details with, where you got to be very specific. But I love the look of this line. This line kind of actually is okay for inking, because although it's a very solid black line, it does have the fuzzy edges, which help it blend in a little bit with the pencils. So let's get back to shading this web. There's a web of shadows joke somewhere in there, but I can't figure it out right now. I didn't know that Seth Rogen was in Kung Fu Panda, but it's kind of cool. I like that. I might work out throwing in some music in the background of these streams softly. I had some earlier for when I was away from the just iPad, just letting people join. I had some going, but for something just kind of consistently in the background, I'll have to find my usual stuff that I listen to when I'm on a long, color journey. Alright, that's probably good for shadows on that. Might deepen this a little bit. Yeah, that looks cool. Okay. Put some shadows on this. Actually, I might backlight that one, so this part, yeah. Does that look cool? Nah, I'll do it the other way. Okay. So this area, shadow, yep, okay. Yeah, alright, that's probably good for webs. I'll do the webs down here for Carnage. How many issues are we planning to do? 5. There's going to be 5 issues of Spider-Man 94. There's a script for a secret 6th issue, but you guys will never see it. Yeah, I'll probably work it out later tonight for music playing in the stream. I don't want to do it right now because that'll take a while for me to sort out, and you'll have to hear me troubleshooting to make sure the audio is coming through. So it's just gonna be a pain. I won't do it right now. I need to clean up these fucking webs. These have some straight lines in them all over the place. Okay, that's probably good enough. Yeah, okay, that looks pretty good from a distance. So. You will never know what issue 6 is about. Is my stream really that far behind? I feel like I talked about that like 5 minutes ago. Yeah, these are starting to look like webs, I think. Alright, there is one. Now let's go for the other, which doesn't reach off of the panel, so it'll be less work for me. Do I prefer digital or traditional? Honestly, it comes when it comes down to it, it really depends on what I'm doing. I prefer I used to prefer penciling traditionally, but I've had so much more success doing it digitally now that like just cuz I'm able to resize things cuz like I'm kind of fucking garbage at drawing. So I'm able to warp around and undo as many times without ruining the paper. And I draw very heavy handed. You know, I don't have a light touch. So if I mess up on the paper enough times, I can't really get away with it. You know, you'll still see the lines after erasing, but drawing straight onto the iPad and being able to do it as many times as I need, undoing, it's a lot better for me. Um, So I think I prefer penciling digitally. I like inking. I've been liking inking a lot more ever since I got new like brushes. Ever since I made this new one, the crazy chunky one. But inking, I think I still prefer traditionally. I definitely like inking with a brush, like an actual fucking hair brush. Um, and I used to ink with pens a lot to do like really tight cross hatching and stuff. But ever since I started looking at more like John Romita Sr. art and liking the way that that looks rather than the, very gritty Todd McFarlane and like Jim Lee stuff, which is what I used to be really into in like middle school and like early high school. That's what I kind of went for when I would do my inks, but I like the much more cleaner brush strokes now. And just doing that with an actual brush is very fun. Getting, it just gives you so many interesting line weights, as where with each pen, there's only so much you can do with, one. Just like one little nib that has no size variation. But coloring, I definitely prefer digitally. Markers are very expensive. Markers are very fucking expensive. And you just can't do as much with them. I like painting. Painting is fun. I don't do it very much, but when I do, it's very fun. I like it. But doing this stuff digitally is very fun. You can basically get whatever look you want digitally. Just with all these brushes I have, I do painting and stuff for the backgrounds of this comic. But I also can do these flat, very traditional comic book colors. And you can do it with the same tool, essentially. I like the freedom that digital can give you. Yeah, nothing really is permanent. Which I kind of like a little bit. You know, whatever I put down is staying and I have to just live with it. I kind of like that with inking traditionally, but at the same time, this is just so much less stressful. The only problem I find myself running into with this, though, is that sometimes you just don't know when enough is enough. You don't know when to stop. Because I feel like a lot of the time when you stop traditionally, it's because you like the way that it looks and you're afraid any further you might ruin everything. But here, everything's kind of just always alright, so you can just keep going. But yeah, digital is definitely, it takes a little bit to get used to, and it's all about finding, like, what brushes you like the most and adjusting how they're going to feel for pressure sensitivity and whatnot. I think this web is done now. But yeah, it all just comes down to how you want the brush to feel, and you play around with settings a lot to get it to feel like that. Like, I have this brush all set for how I want it. Then I have a variant of it that's a little bit different that lets me do crazier lines. Like, I can go all over the place. But the one that I've been using is a lot more, like, restrictive of how crazy you can be, and it lets me get tighter lines like this. lets me do that. Lets me get a lot straighter lines. Basically just tightens your grip. And I like that a lot. So I'll add in a background for Venom, and I think I'll call the stream there. Get back to the rest of this later. I might... I'll do Spider-Man's eyes. There he is. Oh, that looks good. Okay. So I will add the background for this. I'm thinking what the last page looked like. Yeah, I haven't finished the page that comes before this. I could finish. Yeah, I could do that one on stream. I could do that one. The one that comes right before this I could do. So that'll be fun. I'll do that at some other time. Yeah, okay. That's a good plan, I reckon. I will go for... I'll go for some blues up here for these two panels. I'll do blue backgrounds because it'll help contrast to this orange one. That is my process. Yeah. Okay. And what I really like about digital is that you can put down any color. I don't know why that happened. Hold on. Ooh, stop that. Okay, whatever. Just make my brush big, fill that shit in. But what I like about digital is that you can basically put down any color. You just need to put something down, and then you can shift around to see what color you might want. Like all that really matters is that you put something down. You can always go back and change it and make sure things look right. Like your first color is never necessarily has to be your final color, and I like that a lot. Makes coloring a lot fun. It's kind of a fun little experiment every time to see what you're gonna end up with and what you're gonna like. I think for this, oh, hold on, let me fucking select. Let me just get this big brush. Fill all this in. Get it all? Yeah, okay. So what I think I'm gonna do here is do that, and then watch this. I promise it. Like, it looks like shit right now, but watch. And then they added this nice little feature so that you can just do this. I don't have to lay down anything fucking crazy anymore. I don't have to lay down, filters anymore, screen tones. It just does it for me. I can actually look at other types as well. I think I'll go for this. I'll make it kind of small. Or Or let's see. I can make it like that. Make it completely fucking dumb. But I'll go for something small so it's not distracting. And then over here, different layer. Select all this and I'll make it yellow. Then brighten it. And then we will blur it. I'm really experimenting right now. I don't know what this is going to look like when I'm done. I think I'll even brighten this more. I might just make that a solid white. Yeah, I'm going to make this a solid white before... I don't know. Can I get some... What the fuck? What is going on? What is all that? Who let me do this? Oh, can I write in what... What? What was that all about? Okay, whatever. Wait, hey. Okay, yeah. I can write in what I want now. Cool. How do you decide which half of Venom was the pink highlights or the blue? I go to his ellipse first. You can... It's in the archive. You can go back and look for it for future reference if you need it, but... I started his lips, and from there, I decide, like, from there I'm just like, alright, well, which side do I think is going to be blue or pink? Which one do I think would look better for this shot? Depending on where I think the lighting is coming from. And honestly, it doesn't matter, because for Venom, light is coming from him from both directions. So, I don't know. It's kind of just a, you know, which one do I think is going to look better in this image? For this specifically, down here, I had more of a process, because for here, it doesn't matter as much, because he's not standing next to anything. But I figured if he's standing next to something red, the red light would reflect onto him, so he's standing next to Spider-Man. The red is the closest to Spider-Man, so I did the same thing down here. So that was how I decided there, and it's not always a perfect split down the middle. They typically will go for, like, one half is red up here, then the other half is blue down there. Even though this is like the right, like this side right here is the red side, they still put blue on the under parts of that. And, you know, I typically go by that rule, and I think if it looks kind of weird, I'll change things out. Like up here, I had this section right here. I had his leg pink right there, and I had this section pink, and it looked weird to me, so I just made it all blue, and that made it look fine. Because, like, the light would kind of be, the light would be hitting him from, like, up here, and then up here there's shadow being cast on his arm, like down here, so these sides up here are lit up with red. So there's kind of a science to it, but, like, also it doesn't really matter. I don't know if I should blur this white part or not. Let me see what it looks like. I think I might blur it a little bit, but then... Let me see what happens if I blur it now. Oh, I think there's a thing underneath it. Yeah, okay, let me flatten that and then do it. Yeah, that looks kind of nice. Might even go take an airbrush now. Where's the small one? Why is it all the way down here? Okay. It's raining. Damn, it's raining hard. Okay. So anyway, kind of make that screen tone effect disappear behind it, but still airbrush this section enough to where it's not a super stark line. Okay. Okay, yeah, that looks cool. I think that's panel 1. So, in this 2-hour stream, everyone, we did 1 panel and shadows on webs. And a little tiny Spider-Man. Making comic books takes a long time. And hopefully I will continue to get faster at it so it takes less time. But anyway, I think that's a pretty good spot to start wrapping up the stream. So yeah, I think that'll be it for today, or not for today, but for right now. We'll come back a little bit later today, when Dana's off work, and he'll be able to watch, and he'll see his art come to life, and then I'll send the page over to Xavier to letter, and you guys won't see that until the actual full issue is out. So, yeah, it's a fun little stream. I think these are pretty fun. I think I'll keep doing art streams more often. I don't always have to be playing games on here, and I don't really show my art on this channel that much. I have unlisted videos used for, behind the scenes things for podcasts. For that first Spider-Man 94 podcast and for the commercial for the first issue. Just some footage of me painting the first couple pages, and then the page where Otto, Shocker, and Scorpion show up. But yeah. Oh, Becky just joined. Here, hold on, wait. I can't let the stream end when Becky just got here. Hold on. We'll do a little something here. I'll let her look around. She can see what we did here today. And then I'll turn everything off. I'm going to draw something really quick, just so there's a little bit of something. Alright. What we draw in chat? I'll do like 2 drawings really quick, just in pencil. What we got? Okay, we got Batman Beyond, Walter White. I'll start with Walter White, bro. So he's got like got like this look where you can always see his teeth a little bit. Let me see. Let me figure out shapes really quick. Okay. And he's got that, you know, he got that fang on him. And he's got one of these. What am I using? I need to make this brush bigger. There we go. So there's Walter. There he is. Actually, I think his head shape's not exactly right. I think it needs to be a little bit longer. Let me swap that out. There we go. So there's Walter White, and I can even give him the classic, you know. So yeah, there's Walter White. Where's Jesse? I'll draw a little Jesse. There's Jesse. Alright, there's Walter and Jesse. What's next? I'll draw a quick Sonic. I can do that. All right, there's a little Sonic. Bam. All right, I'll do one more thing. We'll fit it into this little corner, and then we'll wrap up the stream. Yeah, I'll post this on Twitter. Who's next? Come on, give me one last thing to draw. Link from Zelda. Okay. He's got like this hair. I'm gonna do like kind of a Toon Link. Does this have a little thing on the end? I feel like it does. Because it's like, wasn't it like an animal or like a plant or some shit? It has some fucking thing on the end. I feel like it. What does this hat look like? Does it go up? I feel like maybe it doesn't hang down like Toon Link's. It has like a spiral or some shit, right? I don't fucking remember. Ah, whatever. He's got that belt on him. He's got his sword sheath. Anyway, there's Link. Alright. So anyway. This is the comic book. You can turn it back on, and there's the book, but also there's Walter White and Link and Sonic and Jesse Pinkman. So I think that about does it. That was a fun little time. Just last minute, so that there was something to watch for Becky who had just joined. But that'll be it for now. I'll be starting up again in a little bit. Let's see, what time is it for me right now? It's almost 3. I think probably, I'm gonna guess, like 6 p.m. Dane will probably be off work by then. So maybe around then. Not too much longer, maybe 3 or 4 hours, and then I'll come back. So yeah, that was a fun little stream, I think. I hope everyone had a good time. Bye.